Welcome back to the So This Happened podcast.
I'm your co-host, Tia.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Alexis. And so this happened. We have a convicted felon for president.
Here we go.
Yeah. Again. For the second time.
The second term.
Part 2.
Okay, so how are we feeling about that?
It's been a heavy week.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of tears. I'll be so honest that I took this election a lot harder than I expected.
Yeah.
It was a shock. I was fully expecting us to have our first female president. It was like without a doubt. And I think it just goes to show that we don't know. Like it's an election, and like I hope it was a free and fair election, but the people have spoken, and it's truly shocking.
Yeah. I'll say the same. I definitely cried, and to be honest, I wasn't expecting to cry, but I woke up the next day with so much grief, like a feeling of deep grief, and like I just felt so sad. And like just because I'm like Kamala's biggest supporter, biggest fan, like I am the first to be very open about my criticisms about her. But the idea that we could see a female president in office was something that was just so like exciting for me. Hopeful.
Yeah.
It shows like such a message that like women can literally do anything. We've been knew this. Okay, we've been knew that women can do anything and that we're capable and that we're strong and resilient, but it's incredibly frustrating that we have to always be so resilient. So I felt like this would kind of been like a sign of like hopefulness and change. And I just felt sad because like I was also thinking about all of the people that this is going to affect.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of my grief came from, is I am very empathetic. And so like I will like take on a lot of other people's feelings.
Yeah.
And I think that is a lot of where my grief came from. I just felt so bad.
Yeah.
I felt so bad. I felt so sad. I felt so discouraged. And it just made me also look at the people in my life closely. And that was also heartbreaking.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. I felt very disappointed.
Yeah.
When I woke up, and sad too, of course, but disappointed to know that we're the minority and not the majority. You know, people flock to like-minded individuals. So, of course, the people that I surround myself by have a lot of the same beliefs and morals that I do. And so when that's all that I'm perpetuated to hear, then, you know, that's all that I know. And because I don't, you know, have a lot of people in my life that are, you know, from the other side, I don't get to hear that. And so, of course, we were very hopeful for Kamala to be president, but that's not what happened. So it's very fair to have a lot of feelings of grief.
Yeah.
With all of the things that happened in this election, but it is what it is.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I cried every single day this week. But also this was just a heavy week in a lot of different ways. And I do want to touch on how basically the beginning, it was very much, it felt imminent doom. The first day I woke up at 5 a.m., saw the results, and immediately cried in my girlfriend's arms, because we're all thinking the world is going to end. And I was immediately being like, oh my God, am I going to have the right to marry my girlfriend? Are we going to have the right to our bodies and the freedom of choice and interracial marriage? Like, is all of this at stake, basically? And I felt that way for 24 to like 48 hours post-election, and then I really had to come to a head and be like, Alexis, we're okay.
Yeah.
Like, nothing has happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is hypothetical, and we can be fearful. I mean, I don't want to be fearful, but like, just being hopeful and just staying informed throughout this whole process is like what we just need to remind ourselves of, and that everything is hypothetical. Nothing's happened yet, and we just need to not feel like this is the end all be all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah,
Definitely.
I definitely had to grieve, take the time to grieve, and now really start looking at why this happened and look at the difference of characters of our candidates.
Yeah.
And truly try to understand the other side,
Mm.
but then also hold them accountable for the person that they elected to be president.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I said this before. I was talking to my cousins about this last night, and I have people in my family that are Republican, and then I have people in my family that are Democrats. I'm a registered Democrat, so I typically vote Democrat. I've never voted Republican. But there are people in my family that have voted Republican in the past. There is nothing wrong with being a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
There is nothing wrong with being a Democrat. That is how you identify, and that's fair. That's fair. But the issue at hand here is the person that you elected to represent your party is someone that I simply cannot respect, and someone that I don't think is qualified to be the leader of the free world as of now. Free as of now. Again, hypothetical, but it's just frustrating to me that so many people are okay with having a leader that is a convicted felon, that is I don't even know if I can say it on here, a rapist, a race, I'm going to say it, a rapist, a racist, a misogynist,
Ableist.
homophobic, like the list goes on.
Yeah.
Okay, the list goes on. So
Unfortunately.
that's my issue, right? Is that so many people in my life that for so long I've like connected with morally voted for him, which is like the what? Like it almost felt kind of like a damn. So what the hell have we been talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because I thought we were on the same page here. So again, there is nothing wrong with being a Republican, and I will scream that from the mountaintops. There's nothing wrong with the party that you identify with.
Yeah.
But there is an issue when it comes to the person that your party has chose to represent themselves, because what you're telling us is that you also believe in the things that he is saying.
Mm-hmm.
And that is simply not okay with me. But that's also not to say that Kamala is the perfect candidate, because again, like I said earlier, I have my own criticisms about her. The whole genocide in Gaza, that is something that I have been very vocal about on social media. I am very, very, very pro-Palestine. I'm
We all are?
absolutely, yeah.
Yes, to
We
confirm.
all are aligned here. But I feel like I've been very vocal about how disgusting and disturbing the genocide of Palestinian people have been, and the role that America has played in that genocide. It's not a war, it is a genocide.
Yeah.
This is not a fight between two powers. This is one power completely devastating a very vulnerable demographic. And it's sickening to me. And I hate the fact that America has played such a huge role in this, has not called for a ceasefire, has not denounced the genocide. And with Kamala being the vice president for 4 years and literally this happening during their administration, it is incredibly frustrating to basically like just sit through it. So I will be the first to say that I have my criticisms of her as well. But in my opinion, to think that he would call for a ceasefire and that he would denounce the genocide is like just like that doesn't make sense to me at all. Like I don't ever see that happening. So
No.
yeah, I don't.
The fuck, who's the guy? Israel.
Netanyahu.
Yeah.
Netanyahu.
He said that the Trump winning the presidency was a victory, and like he's only happy about it, and yeah, that's
It's just more hatred on top of hatred on top of hatred, right? Because it's just more powers just spewing hatred,
Yeah.
and it's just very disappointing to see. So
It's really disheartening.
yeah,
at the end of the day, Israel is an ally to the United States, so Democrats and Republicans are only going to look at them as an ally,
exactly.
and it's disappointing on both ends.
Yeah.
So
I can also understand that a lot of people didn't vote because of that cause or because of this issue. Which again, I understand. It was a very polarizing election. And also I was talking to someone about this like on social media, and he asked me a question that I think is a very valid question, and he said like, if this genocide were to happen in your home country, would you still have voted for Kamala? Because this is happening under their administration.
Yeah.
And it was hard for me to answer that question, mainly because I'm not Palestinian. And so I don't know directly like how it would affect me if my people in Kerala, in India, were going through a genocide, because that hasn't happened. So I can't necessarily I can still show empathy towards the Palestinian people, and that's why I stand with the Palestinian people, and I am calling for a ceasefire, and I'm very vocal about it. I can put myself in their shoes for a moment when it comes to empathy, but because I have not lived through that, it's also hard for me to make that decision or make that choice, And I told him, I was like, I completely understand, like, because he said he didn't vote. And I said, I completely understand, like, where you're coming from, because this election was very, like, morally taxing for me. If I'm going to be honest. It was literally so, I waited until the last minute to endorse. I don't even want to say endorse.
Yeah.
Like, I waited until the last minute to, like, election day. I waited until election day to say I voted for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, because I was really, really doing my due diligence to like do research on both sides. That's how I operate when it comes to politics. I will always do my due diligence. I will listen to both sides. I will do my research. All of that. I'm not going to you cannot make a formed opinion or an educated opinion without putting in the work. So that's why it took me so long to like come to that decision. But I'm like, my decision is my decision at the end of the day. And I can understand why people voted third party or didn't vote at all. I don't think it's fair to shame those people.
No.
But I do wish that there was also more. I think the problem here is the lack of education and the lack of like doing your due diligence to like really do your research on a candidate.
No, I agree, Kelly, because you have to be informed and you have to know what you're voting for. We have so many people in this country fighting for your right to vote.
Yes.
So please exercise that right. We want to keep this country in a democracy.
Yeah.
And that means your vote matters.
Yeah.
it does.
It really does. Even if you don't feel like it does or doesn't seem like it does, the more that you inform yourself, the more you understand that your vote really does matter.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
make sure that, it's not just, in the presidential election that you guys need to vote in. You've got state elections.
Totally.
You've got county elections. It's at all levels.
Yeah.
Really look into those people that are representing you
Yeah.
and are representing what you believe in.
Mhm.
And if it's not, then you have the right to change that with your vote.
Yeah.
And like to go on, like the independent party voters, the people that did not choose to vote, it's our country was not meant to be a two-party system. The framers always meant for it to be multiple parties, and we vote for the best one that we all align with. And unfortunately, it is just molded into being a two-party system, and I feel like it feels almost impossible to get out of that at this point. And I hope one day we can, and that the independent people have a better shot. Jill Stein, I'm not super educated on all of her stances. She might be cool, she might not be. I don't want to use her as my example of an independent person to vote for, but others, like, we were meant to be more than just Democratic versus Republican.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that we're at this point. Yeah, we're here, and this current election was between a prosecutor versus a convicted felon. That's a fact. And I want to highlight how truly awful of a person Trump is. And I don't want to come after Trump supporters and saying that you are a reflection of Trump, but who you voted for is an awful person. And the things he has said, the things he has done, what he's done to women, it's just unforgivable. Like, forget for a second about the economy, forget about gas prices. Like,
for 1 second.
Forget about that. He was convicted on 34 felonies. Like, how do you say Blue Lives Matter and back the blue and then someone that's a felon? Like,
right.
It's just, it doesn't make sense on that.
It's very ironic.
It is. And like the insurrection is another whole point that, like, because 2020 election was stolen. The 2024 election wasn't, though, right? Because you won. Like, that's a whole nother thing. It's just sad. It makes you really question where we are as the United States of America. We don't feel united.
Yeah.
It just, it's truly a terrifying time to be a woman. And on top of, like, what Trump, just the rhetoric and the language he's used and how that's created this atmosphere and environment of how we speak to each other. And we can get into podcasts and how
we should.
The white male population has succumbed to these podcasters like Nick Fuentes and Joe Rogan, for example.
Let's get into that. Let's get started.
Get into it.
Yeah. As women with podcasts, let's talk about the white men with podcasts for a second.
I mean, that's where a lot of people are getting their information from now. You know, if it's on TikTok or other, social media platforms, but podcasts are really popping off right now for where people get their information. There's so much negativity on some of these podcasts that people are watching, like the people that you mentioned.
And Nick Fuentes, like, I did a deep dive of him. His last name is Fuentes. He's of Mexican heritage in his family. Yet he was at a white supremacist rally in it was either, I want to say Charlottesville. Don't quote me on that. I want to say that. I'll have to check back. But he was at a white supremacist rally and then had to drop out of his freshman year at Boston University because he was being, like, bullied for that. And
in this case, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah,
but you know what I was gonna say.
You can infer.
You can't quote me.
And he's like, self-proclaimed incel. and just,
Wait, he's a self-proclaimed incel?
Yeah.
You proclaimed being an incel?
Yeah, like he's scary. He's scary. And then obviously we've all seen the clips going around of Your Body, My Choice. And the way he has such a platform and that young males are watching that, and now I've seen so many just anonymous accounts on social media commenting on women's videos and pictures, Your Body, My Choice. And that women are like, oh, good luck finding a wife, and oh, good luck like finding a girlfriend at this point. And the men are like, oh, it doesn't matter, we'll make you, we'll force you. Like, this is just becoming it's scary. And I didn't get to tell you guys this. I shopped for a gun yesterday.
Wait, oh my God, wait.
Yeah. I didn't tell you guys.
I think we should all actually get our FOID cards. I think we should go to the gun range.
I have my FOID. I have my FOID.
I'm going to do that.
I want my concealed carry license.
Yeah.
And me and my parents shopped for guns yesterday, because at this point, to be a woman
Family
is
bonding.
truly terrifying. Yeah. And just seeing those comments of men and how they're like, oh, if I'll take it from you. You don't have, like, you're a woman. It just doesn't, like, that. And the fact that they just feel so comfortable speaking like that, it's just, it's terrifying. So yeah, I'm going pull a Kamala. I have a Glock. I have a Glock. And period. And
if you want to spew the Your Body, My Choice rhetoric, how about Your Body, My Choice? All right? Because you're going to catch these motherfucking hands.
Yeah.
If you even try me.
Yeah.
No, and
I didn't take up Muay Thai for nothing.
Period.
Like, we ordered stun guns on Amazon.
Yeah.
I have a little knife on my keys. Like,
yeah.
Strap. Like, women.
Lift.
This is a call to all women right now. Stay strapped.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Legally, you go the right routes.
Please.
Please. But stay strapped,
legally.
because at this point, it feels like a male versus female.
Yeah.
It feels like men just want to control women in any way they can. They want to create fear in women. And it's just like, fuck that. And also, I saw this thing, because how I was saying how I was terrified, like, oh, am I going to be able to marry my wife and blah, blah, blah. I saw this girl on TikTok's video, and she just literally was like, who's going to tell me I can't marry my wife? Who's going to tell me that? I'm going to marry her. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. And she just, like, went off and was like, you guys, like, stop acting so scared.
Yeah.
Like,
stop acting scared.
We're, like, this isn't going to happen. You're going to be able to do whatever the fuck you want to do. Like, relax. You know? Like, it's nuts. Joe Rogan is another one.
Yeah. I saw the clip of him saying that they knew 4 hours before the election was called.
Yeah.
That Donald Trump knew. But again, like, we don't want to get... I don't know enough about that situation. I just know that I saw it on my TikTok feed. I don't want to talk about anything that I'm not completely informed about.
Everything is alleged.
Yeah. But it was filmed.
He
was filmed saying that.
Yeah.
It's out there. And yeah, I don't want us to feed into the conspiracies, but I want to just be like, the information is out there, and I hope the powers that be take that information that is becoming available, and hopefully we find out that there's no foul play with this election. It was free and fair.
Yeah.
And that's what I hope, because I never want us to be like how we were in 2020, where the election was stolen and an insurrection and a attempted coup on our capital.
Yeah.
That was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I just don't want us to be like, oh, we lost and now the election is stolen. Like, I don't want that to happen.
We don't want to basically act the same way that they did.
Yeah, like, we need to be better. We need to, like, and how Kamala said in her concession speech, we need to accept this with grace.
Yeah.
And accept what the results of the election is, and the American people. They voted, they spoke. It's unfortunate that the majority agrees with Donald Trump. It's very unfortunate and quite embarrassing to the rest of the world. But we're just gonna have to be embarrassed for the next 4 years.
But we have to remember too that progress isn't linear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? So yes, it really does feel defeating, experiencing all of this, but you have to be the change that you want to see, right? You can vent.
Hey, Gandhi.
Yeah.
Hey.
You can vent and complain. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Find time to do that. But at some point, you're going to have to do something about it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You can't just sit here, do nothing, and expect something to change. That's not how life works.
Right.
Sorry if that was a rude awakening. Because if you continue to do that, then you're just going to be a pygmy.
No.
And
Literally.
there's enough of those.
We got enough of those on the planet. But I also think it's just the fact that, like, you can't complain about the state of our country and then not do anything about it. Because at the end of the day, this is still a democracy. Like, we have a voice. Politicians work for us. I think we need to remember that.
Yeah.
We put them in that position of power. And I think it's up to us to use our voice for better. So like you said, be the change you want to see in the world. Start joining different community groups. Take part in your local elections.
Yeah.
Do your research on judges, on congressmen, on governors, mayors, representatives. Like, all of these things matter.
Yeah.
They are representatives, represent us. It's quite literally in their job title.
Yep.
So I think I just want to leave it at, like, a lot of it has to do with properly educating yourself. Enough with just getting your research on TikTok. Enough with getting your research and your talking points from a WhatsApp forward at my family members.
Called you out.
Yeah. And let's also encourage, like, good conversations with people that have opposing views with you, because I think it's very, like, they call us snowflakes. Can we talk about that? They call us snowflakes. And one, we're not. I will stand on that. But you're only fueling that fire for them if you're getting overly emotional about things. And that's not to say that those emotions aren't valid, because they are perfectly valid. But when it comes to, like, actually talking to someone about something, state your case and state it with some conviction. State it with some backed research that's unbiased, first of all. Get unbiased research. Don't watch just Fox News. Don't watch just ABC, CNN, all those things. Really filter through those. All of that stuff. Get a lot of things that I've noticed is that people forget how the US government works.
Oh, I literally was, like, waiting to, like, chime that in. Just, like, read the fucking Constitution.
Did we take the Constitution test, besties?
Like,
what's going on? What happened?
What's going on?
What's going on? I really feel like there is such a lack of understanding of how our government works, how it got to this point. Like you said, it wasn't ever meant to be a two-party country. That was never supposed to happen. Please, please, please properly educate yourself on, one, what a democracy is, what we stand for, what we want out of this country, what you stand for. If you're going to have an opinion, just stand on it, you know? So, I don't know.
If, like, Thomas Jefferson intended for the Constitution to be revisited every 20 years and to be updated. We haven't done that. Like, and that's where I think it's frustrating to know that, like, how this country started, which colonization was a big thing. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
But how it started with the Constitution and all that, and the framers, and it just they had ideas that now aren't relevant, and it's like a convicted felon should have never been able to run for office.
That's
and the fact
crazy.
that this just is an unspoken thing that it's like, oh no, it doesn't say. So yeah, he can be elected.
Felons can't vote.
Like
He couldn't.
He had to go to Florida, which I'm
That's
assuming,
a whole other thing.
I'm assuming convicted felons can vote in Florida because he was able to. But
Yeah.
crazy. It's just like, and the fact that let me talk about this.
Talk your shit, bestie. Talk your shit.
Donald Trump had two options: win this election, or be sentenced for his 34 felony counts in New York next month. Or is it November,
I think
December?
it's the end of this month is his trial.
And the beautiful thing about it is once he's president, he can pardon himself on federal charges. This is a state charge, so he cannot pardon himself for this. Great. But also, there's this unspoken rule where you can't prosecute a sitting president. So what the fuck are we doing? Are we waiting 4 years and then we can prosecute for him? But he has a right to a fair and speedy trial.
Yeah.
4 years isn't that speedy. So
is there like a statute of limitations too? I feel like no, right? Because a lot of the convictions are like.
Well, so he's already been convicted though.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
We're waiting for sentencing.
Okay, right.
But they're not going to go forward with it because he can't be sentenced if he's the president of the United States. So
the loopholes are literally insane.
Like, and it's just like the founding fathers, I don't think would have wanted a convicted felon and rapist as the leader of our country. Like, forget everything else. Like, that's just awful to have to say that.
Yeah.
To admit that this is who we elected. Not me though.
Not me though.
Y'all did. Not us though.
No.
Yeah, not us.
But
like, how does that sit with you morally? You know, if you did vote for Donald Trump, how were you able to justify that rhetoric just on its own, just as him being a convicted felon? Let's not talk about any of his policies or anything like that. It's just morally, is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Are you not embarrassed? Like, that's what I'm wondering, is that you willingly voted for a felon, dude. Does that not hold any kind of weight? Does the character of a person not hold any weight for you when it comes to them leading our country?
Yeah.
Is what I am simply not understanding. And to be honest, I don't think I'll ever understand your viewpoint. And honestly, I'm okay with it. This is not an invitation for you to hop in my DMs and try to convince me, oh, Kelly, but did you? No. Baby, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, I don't care. I've formed my opinion about this man and his politics, and I simply do not agree with it. And that's kind of just where I'm at.
And we'll stay informed. Like, we're not gonna just be like, we don't care, we're not gonna hear you out. I will be informed on like the presidency and what unfolds next. But as far as hearing out why specific people support him, it's just,
I just don't care at this point anymore. It is a moot point. I just don't care anymore because you've already stated your case.
And the election's over. Like, so like, whatever. Please don't state your case for why you voted for him, because you did, and he's president. Congrats.
Yeah.
And after, being very clear on our stances of how we feel about this man, prove me wrong. I hope gas is a penny a gallon. I hope our economy flourishes. I hope inflation decreases. I hope we're all laughing and holding hands together at the end of this 4-year term.
I hope all of the people who are making less than $60K a year that think that they're billionaires are going to make money from Trump's tax plan makes that money.
I
You're a billionaire. Yeah.
Surprise.
I hope.
Hope you get what you wanted.
Yeah.
But
So that's all all we could do is hope. And we'll just see.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see.
I just want to say, like, want to leave it at this point. Like, regardless of how I feel about that man, again, I do hope for a good presidency. I do hope that all the good things happen. But I also just want to say that I lead with respect and kindness with every person that I encounter in my life until you give me a reason to not respect you or treat you kindly. That is all I'm going to say. If you personally hurt me or the people that I love, that respect and that kindness is immediately revoked.
Yeah.
But up until that, I will lead with respect and kindness. And I urge everybody to lead with respect and kindness because at the end of the day, we are all humans. We are all living on this floating rock together.
Yeah.
We all play a role in each other's lives, whether we know it or not. So I think it's just really important to just lead with love. Regardless if I agree with your political opinions and the person that you voted for, I will still treat you with respect. And I would hope that that's returned.
Yeah.
And I just want to urge like our listeners to follow in the same suit as just being respectful because they want us to react. They want us to react like they did during the insurrection. And I think that would be incredibly damaging and would just prove their point. So just lead with kindness and love. It's fucking scary out here. Like life is so hard. It's so scary for marginalized communities. My heart goes out to all of those people that are directly affected by this, women in red states that are already experiencing the consequences of Roe v. Wade being abolished, I guess. My heart goes out to you. I'm gonna keep fighting for women. I'm gonna keep fighting for marginalized communities. I'm gonna use my platform to do that because that is the person that I am. Yeah. So that's all I ask is the same in return.
That's what we're here to do. That's why this is a hard topic to talk about. Yeah. Politics is always very like hush hush. Don't like before. Remember, it used to be like don't ever talk about who you voted for.
Yeah.
Like let's just keep it unknown. And we've gotten completely past that where it's like who did you vote for? And like I don't want to demonize each other because that just harbors in you. Like I feel it in myself. I drive by these houses with all their Trump signs and flags and it's giving cult. Number one, don't ever idolize a politician. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't matter who you voted for.
Exactly.
Yeah. Having that much memorabilia for a politician, you're nuts. You're nuts and we're not the same. But
that part.
Every time I drive by and just the hatred I feel, I want to let that go. And that's what I want to work towards is we have to realize that apparently from the results of this election, they're the majority. Like we need to stop acting like we're the majority and that they're the crazy ones because no one's crazy, but evidently
there's some that are.
Evidently we're the minority now. So it's kind of crazy and I guess talk about from the perspective of being a white person. Let's get into that part.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. It's I don't like I'm not gonna be like white savior and I also don't want to be like, oh, I hate being white. It's just like it is what it is. The history of white people in this country is ugly. It's so ugly. I hate what white people have done to people that don't look or act or think like them throughout our history. And there's no resolution that I as a single white woman can give. It's just is what it is. And I hope that I can be part of the change and just part of the conversation and uplift voices that have been silenced for as long as our country has been established. And it's crazy.
No, but I think it's important that like you like recognize your privilege as a white woman, and like Tia and I, like, we're Asian women, you know, and so like and first generation at that, you know, so like we have like a different perspective about all of this. And I think like the one thing that I do appreciate about you is that you as a white woman always do use your platform to like spread positivity. You use it to educate your followers. You do it in a way where you're advocating for marginalized communities as well. And I feel like that is a huge step. You know, like it only makes sense that people of color are leading those movements, but to have someone that is in a privileged position also join that is beautiful. And that shows solidarity. That shows ally.
Right? And there's never been an air of condescension.
Never.
There either.
Yeah.
So it's great to see that there are people out there like Alexis.
Yeah.
To
be quiet. And like, what's crazy, I haven't talked to you guys about it. I mean, I think you know a little bit, but like, obviously, blended family. I was raised by a Guatemalan man, but my biological father is a white man in Missouri.
Missouri?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And that man is a Trumpy through and through. Ex-cop, ex-military.
Ex-cop? Mm-hmm. I did not know that.
I think he actually is a cop again. Unfortunately. But it's just I mean, that's going to be a whole nother topic someday to talk about, like, blended family and whatever. So I don't even want to really get into it, but it's just like grateful that that man didn't raise me and he's not in my life. And yeah, like I've the white people in my family all are very much full of hatred, and I don't communicate with any of them, and I'm a better person for it because they are all very anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ, for everything else that Trump stands for, basically. And I'm just grateful that I am who I am. Was raised by the parents I was raised by, and feel very strong in my convictions. And I don't know, I think we're all just really good people. Like,
period.
Shout out to us.
Shout out to us for real.
No,
I would want to have us on our side, on my side.
Yeah. If there are more people like us, you know, again, but we're the minority in this situation, which is sad. But, you know, all we can hope for is that if you do feel very strongly about the actions that came out from the election, please use those emotions that you have to fuel you to make some change that you want to see. It's so cliche. Be the change that you want to see. No, but it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. One of the things that just really was prevalent from this election was how much disrespect there is just for fellow human beings on this continent, this same country. Okay, there's so many other countries in this world, and like this is the message that we're sending to the rest of them, that this is how we treat each other.
Exactly.
So, you know, respect one another, even if you have, especially if you have differences in opinion. You know, we're all here on the same planet together. All right, so
I think it's fair to like also understand that like people have certain views and perspectives because of things that they've experienced in life. So for that point alone is why you should still engage with respect with people that have opposing views as you, mainly because they have experienced something in their life to make them feel a certain way. And if you haven't and you do still think that way, then I don't really know what to say. But I can specifically call out people that feel a certain way because of a certain thing that's happened. So again, just I feel like we can really just like drill this in as much as possible.
And also like if there are any Trump supporters watching this,
Yeah.
if it doesn't affect you, and I mean like people that are different than you, why do you care so much?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just talking on people that are anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ and anti-immigration,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can argue that it does affect them, but just I guess try to be more kind if I can even convey that message to you. But it's just, it feels really ugly right now.
Mm-hmm.
It feels really ugly, the discourse that's happening and how we feel like we can speak to each other, and I just want to get back to a place where just common decency is the norm.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
yeah,
Absolutely.
just yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in.
Well, yeah, I think we're trying to spread love on this platform.
Yeah.
Love, acceptance. It's an open space for everyone.
Mhm.
I hope that if there are any Trump supporters that are listening to this right now, I hope that you did make it to the end, actually. Instead, like, while you're sitting through our criticisms of him. I do hope that you did make it to the end and you are willing to like hear where we're coming from as well. I think you've seen a lot of it on social media, but I think it's different when it's coming directly from someone that you may personally know
Yeah.
on a platform like this.
Mhm.
We want to use our platform to be an open space for marginalized communities. We want to spread love and support to people that don't feel like they're loved and supported. This is an open and free space for us to kind of like brain dump
Yeah.
and vent.
Mhm.
And we hope that this is a place for you to also feel validated in your feelings.
Yeah.
I don't know, love each other, man. Life is hard. The world
Respect,
is
please.
scary.
Yeah.
Like,
Just let go of the hatred. Like, I don't want us to villainize Trump supporters anymore.
Same.
Like, if you're a Trump supporter and you stay till the end, like, I don't hate you.
I don't.
I want you to be more informed, and I hope that this, if you listen to this, it helped a little bit, and I hope that you just do more of your own research. And yeah, I don't hate you. I hate Trump, but I don't hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate that man. Hate that man.
Hate that man.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else, besties?
Should I be like, I don't want him to get assassinated.
Oh yeah.
I just want to touch on this because, like, I absolutely do not want that man to get assassinated. Number one, JD Vance would be the next. Scary. Number two, he
No
would
better.
become a martyr for the not even Republic, for the conservatives, I guess, conservative Republicans, Trump supporters, that he would be a martyr, and oh, they killed him because he was too good, and oh, like, now we truly don't have it. I would be terrified.
We already
if
saw
he
the
was-
memes after his ear got grazed. We don't need any more of
I
that.
would just be terrified if he
Okay.
was assassinated, and like what would come after that.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Like,
So,
all right.
just want to put that out there. Hate him, but
Don't hurt him.
Yeah,
Don't
we
want
don't
him.
bear any ill will of
Yeah.
that sort here.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, I
Like
don't.
we said,
exactly.
respect.
yeah.
Just because we don't like him doesn't mean we want him to get assassinated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't condone that violence. And that's that. That's a
Yep.
disclaimer. We're just
Little
gonna leave it at that.
disclaimer.
We're gonna leave it at that.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you
But-
guys.
Yeah. Be
Okay.
kind.
Be kind. Love you
and
guys.
Take care of yourself.
Yes.
Take care of yourself. Self-care.
Log
please.
off. Maybe log after you view this episode. Log off.
Log off. Read a book. Touch some grass.
Yeah, that part.
Take a walk outside.
Yeah,
Recoup. All
but
right.
we
Pet it.
love you.
Pet a dog.
Yes,
They're
all the dogs.
yeah. They're better than us. Love you so much. Tune in next one. The next one more lighthearted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Silly
We'll get
times
back.
they're coming again
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Mwah.
Get this.
Hit this.
Thanks.